Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to Boss versus Coach. At the outset, I would like to give the heartfelt thanks and I would say gratitude to all of you for your immense love and support to the launch of the cover of our book. So we started this year with a big bang, and that was the launch of the cover of our book. The book is under the typesetting and publishing right now, and we are expecting it to be available in the market and on Amazon and other online portals by mid of Feb. We'll keep coming to you with updates on the book, and please keep supporting us. Please keep uh, contributing your thoughts, your suggestions, your feedback, as they are the motivators for us. So thank you on that part. Coming to the podcast of tonight, uh, we are going to talk about micromanagement versus delegation. Micromanagement is the disruptor of growth, creativity, and innovation, while I feel delegation is the architect of collaboration and success. Having said so, uh, there are uh, views which are on the contrary as well. So, to unfold this mystery of micromanagement versus delegation and how letting go at times can help you build something extraordinary, we have with us tonight two very special guests. But before I go to them, I would like to introduce my friend and co host, Olivia Gadd, to all of you. Olivia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you, Mohit.
I'll stop welcoming you now on, and I think because we are the co-host, and I'll let you take up from where I stop. So Olivia, what's your take on micromanagement versus delegation? Which side you are on?
Wow. Micromanagement, I think, is really a sign of someone who is anxious, who feels like they need control, that their way is the only way of doing anything, which suggests a kind of a bit of a fixed mindset, someone who doesn't allow others to innovate. So absolutely delegation, and delegation done well is what I would really want to see leaders doing, but it's the doing it well which maybe sometimes can be a little hard to get right.
But I have heard contrary views as well that delegation doesn't work every time, and there are moments and there are situations where the leaders have to step in and get on to the task in a very micro level, and that's where people start taking it as micromanagement. What's your take on that?
Well, that'll be when things have gone a bit wrong, won't it? So if something hasn't happened as needed for the project or for the work involved, it's quite possible a leader will have to step up to the plate and work with the team. It's when a leader comes along, pushes the team aside and just does it themselves. It's like, well, where's the learning for the team in that? So even if there's a time constraint and the leader feels they really need to get hands-on, they can still do it side by side with the team. And therefore they're teaching the team how to handle the situation, and they're showing themselves as people who are good colleagues rather than someone who's like, I'm the superhero, I'm going to come and fix everything.
Very true. So let's introduce our guests on the show. So we have tonight with us two very special guests. Let me bring Namita Pandey on the show. So Namita has been to our show before. She's the CHRO of Srijan. She is someone who is promoting the spirit of coaching very actively and has been helping thousands of youth in transforming their life and shaping their vision. So Namita, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you, Olivia. Once again, yeah.
Good to see you.
Thanks. We also have with us Dr. Ambika Nag. Dr. Ambika Nag is a renowned professional in the field of education and social studies. And Ambika has been actively working for a long time in promoting and ensuring that the quality of education is also transformed and the right to education becomes right to have quality education for all. So, Dr. Ambika Nag, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mohit. Good to be here.
So before we move ahead, I would request Namita and Ambika if you can just quickly tell the viewers about yourself, little more than what I have said.
Yeah. So I think in terms of designation, Mohit already introduced that I work as an CHRO in Sturgeon. Other than that, I think, and in the context of this topic, so leadership and as a coach and working with many young people, mentoring them, coaching them. So it has been something which I'm really passionate about. And that brings me here again on this topic also because of the experience I hold and the learning that I draw on day-to-day basis with the colleagues and people who I work with. So that's in all about me.
Thanks, Namita. Over to you, Ambika.
Yeah, Mohit, as you already introduced me as an education and social sector professional. So I have been a teacher educator, and now also a manager. So I have led teams, and I perhaps when I see my job as a teacher and then as a manager, I can see how being a teacher helps me being a good manager also. And when I see this journey, I realize that uh, being a good teacher helps me being a good manager also. And there, all the qualities of managing a team, when you are, uh, your focus is to realize the strength of your team members, just like a teacher understands the strengths of their students and then helps them in their learning journey to achieve some goals. Similarly, with your team, if you know where they are and you help them in their professional journey, helping them, supporting them to go achieve the professional goals, it's like that. So
Agreed.
so I think it helps. Yeah.
No, sure. So thanks, Ambika and Namita for that introduction. So let's move on to the topic for the day. So we are discussing about micromanagement versus delegation, the power of letting go. So quickly, Namita, what do you think that drives leaders to become a micromanager, and how can they let go of this habit?
Uh, Leaders often feel, I believe, based on my experience, that they are responsible for the final results. So they hold accountability towards ensuring the outcomes as they want or as they desire. So sometimes letting go creates a fear that it might create chaos. They may not achieve the desired results as they're expecting. And I think that sometimes drives the need of micromanaging their own teams towards certain tasks and goals. Yeah.
Ambika, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I have realized that when the person who is in management position is not sure about himself, or he has some insecurities, right? So if the person is insecure himself, then he or she doesn't trust others and wants to keep hold on things, wants perfect control on everything, and wants to command. And these are the situations where if you are not confident in yourself, plus you are not confident about the team, plus third thing also comes here, that you are not confident about what you are going to do. Like if I'm very sure about each step of the work that I'm going to do, then I'll be able to delegate. Otherwise, I will, if there are risks in the process, I will try to have command in my hand. So these three things, like knowing my own capabilities, knowing others capabilities, and knowing the work itself, three things, if these are, if something is at loose end, then I will try to micromanage. And if
So
I know
yeah,
the
that
three things, then I will, definitely go and take the chances of delegating the things. Yeah, this is what I think. Yeah.
true. So Olivia, hearing Namita and Ambika, um, it seems that micromanagement takes place when leaders are insecure, or they have fear of losing their control, or they don't have that kind of confidence on their team or the colleagues. Uh, is this true, or is it that at times micromanagement becomes important because uh, you need to deliver something which is near to perfection or the expectation, and you feel that if you let it to the other person's control, you may not be able to have that kind of an outcome. So what do you feel is this dilemma which normally prevail with the leaders?
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And Ambika just then mentioned the word trust. It's like if you employ great people and you give them the space to do great work, how do you know that the result won't be great? So I think there is something about an arrogance in a leader who believes that they are the only one who can deliver what needs to be delivered. And I really liked also what you were saying, Ambika, about just as a teacher needs to know their students. If a leader knows their team members, knows where their strengths are, where their development points are, then they can become like a teacher, making sure that that person has the space to grow and to build on their strengths and to work on their development areas. And you're not going to delegate the most important part of a project to someone who has never done it before necessarily. Maybe you give it to someone who's tried something similar and has a space to grow. But if it's so important to you, why put that pressure on them? So I think it is about knowing what the person needs to grow, what they can bring to the work, and coming back to trust. It's like trust that they will come to you when they need more support and maybe some teaching.
The trust is the key.
Yeah.
Namita, how do you see delegation as a catalyst, especially in situations of high pressure?
I think as in the previous discussion, we pointed out about trust. So once I believe as a leader, I trust my team members, I think delegation becomes much more easier in that sense. If my outcome is very clear to me that this is what I want to achieve at the end of it, and I trust my team members, so I'll let them do whatever ways they want to reach out to that particular outcome. So I'll have to allow them to take risks. I'll have to see that through this process only they'll learn, they'll gain, and they'll move forward. So I believe delegation is a very, very important step to actually empower your team. So with trusting them, with also ensuring that they'll be empowered at the end of it by taking their task on their own. And I think this, and once we have this trusting environment plus people are actually empowered, it leads to success of the organization as well. So I believe it's a very important way how as leaders with that leadership mindset we have to ensure that things should move forward in the teams.
True. So that brings me to a very interesting thought as to how can a leader be told that he is micromanaging, because when I normally hear views from my colleagues and leaders, they say they never micromanage. They always empower teams and they guide them, and they always keep sharing their thoughts and vision so that they do exceptionally well, while the teams have a different version, and that's that they are getting micromanaged. How can this be judged, and how can a leader self-assess that whether he's micromanaging or he's just delegating and empowering? Any thoughts?
I think there are various factors to understand that. Maybe by ensuring that whatever team members are doing, if this person is are tracking them at each and every step, and the team members feel bothered about it, that why each and every step is being checked, ensured, or the person is asking for updates. I think as leader, one needs to analyze for themselves by making a checklist what I'm doing, what is my style of ensuring this task. Either I'm very confused when I've given a task, but still I'm in my mind, I'm not sure this person is going to do, and I'm constantly checking with that person. Second, also I'm feeling that it might lead to a risk. This person might not lead to results. So if I'm not sitting at peace, or I'm not ensuring that I'm not able to feel that confidence that this team or these people are able to do that, will be able to ensure the task that I've asked them. And in my mind, I'm constantly on that pressure of tracking or trying to understand or gazing each and every step. I think that's where one needs to realize what is happening with me and why I can't trust my team members. So that should be a realization.
I like that.
Avantika, your thoughts? Yeah, Olivia, anything? I think
Oh no,
you
I was
can come
just
first.
thinking. I'd say the superpower of a coach is asking questions, and that means you can ask your team, "How's it going? How does it feel when I manage you? How does it feel? Am I giving you enough space? Am I giving you too much space? Am I supporting you? You know, so we can ask. And as you were talking about, you hear that a team might feel their leader is micromanaging where the leader thinks they aren't. Well, that's a communication breakdown, isn't it? How come they're telling you and not the leader? I think, again, it's the leader's role to create a trusting space where they can ask for feedback and receive that feedback so that they have the chance to really understand how they come across, because we don't know. We all have a blind spot on how we are treating others. So I just think we could ask more questions. Sorry, Ambika, you were about to be asked what you thought,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
got
So,
excited.
so when I think of this, I remember my research guide when I was doing my PhD. My guide, he will, you know, tell us how to approach a problem, right? But then the experiment designing and everything we used to do. Now what he used to do is in the evenings he'll sit with us for a cup of tea, and during that hour of tea time, he would simply ask us, "How was your day?" That's all. That was the only question he would ask, and this was such a comfortable space to talk, where we would tell him that my experiment miserably failed. I don't know whether chemicals were wrong or the process was wrong or what went wrong. I don't know. But this experiment has failed. I have put in 4 days into this, but this has failed. So he used to tell us that in science there are no failures. There are only experiments and learnings. So what went wrong, you just try to figure out and then do it again. And these were the processes. He was not micromanaging. He was not asking us each step. He was pushing us towards self-reflection. We were reflecting on our own processes. So when I came to professional life, I realized that these kind of self-reflection processes, if there is a space in the work life to sit with your boss and self-reflect on what you have done and what mistakes you have done, and there, if the boss can help you to figure out the learning from this mistake, then it helps. And then this trust gets strengthened. This process doesn't look like reporting. Yeah, you are sitting with your boss and you are reporting what you have done, what you have not done. It's like sharing your own journey, your failures, your accomplishments. You get appreciation for your accomplishments. You get advice on what can be done better. And these kind of feedback sessions, I think, are very crucial in professional life, just like the student life or the researcher's life, like that.
Great thoughts. So, Namita, who's worst? A micromanager who checks every comma, or a delegator who delegates and forgets?
I think
thought
neither.
asking some silly
Neither.
questions as well.
I think neither. Even micromanagement is also bad for teams and for teams to feel empowered. Also, likewise, I think over delegation is also bad. I would say that as over delegation, because sometimes if it's just completely passing on the buck from yourself to other and without knowing, overburdening the other person, that is also not right at times. So I think a balance, a leader has to have that leadership mindset, ensuring there are certain tasks when you need micromanagement. If, for example, you have a very new team at your place and they may not possess the required skills to ensure this particular task or team. So initially, for a couple of tasks, you may have to micromanage. You have to tell them, you have to provide them regular feedbacks. You have to understand where are they lacking, what are they learning, how is it going, and all that. But that shouldn't, and I'll also at the same time allowing this person to try out his or her own ways of doing it. So a balance of that. Also, then once you start knowing and understanding that this person has the required skills, now this task can be delegated and I'm ready to take risk with that person. So letting that person try out their own ways of ensuring those tasks. So that balance is important. If, for example, if there's a new member in the team and you completely delegated a task to let them experiment and let them see, it can be a disaster as the end result. So this balance as the leader, I think, is very, very important. And also keeping in mind the interests of empowering or trusting your team.
True. Olivia, who's worst?
Who's
Yeah,
worse? Yeah, I know. I mean,
Anyway.
it's a tricky one because they're both terrible. So on a balance of which one of those is worse, and absolutely, you know, if you're delegating, you're still accountable ultimately. You're still responsible for the delivery. It's just that you're not doing the act. So to delegate and walk away is irresponsible, both to the project and also to that team member who can feel completely lost or, you know, go off in a very strange direction because they haven't got anyone to talk it through with. And I loved what Ambika was saying there about that reflective space where you can experiment a little bit, you can try things out, and then in a nice safe space talk about, actually, I tried something, I'm not sure it worked that well, and maybe talking to the boss about what other things could you do to help me. And, you know, the leader might turn around and go, I don't know, try again tomorrow, do something different. Or they might say, we're tight on time, and rein it in a little bit. But communication is always going to be the key. So delegating well is good. I'm not sure I ever like micromanagement. So.
Yes, and Mohit, it is also about calculated risks. Like the manager who delegates, he or she knows, you know, the risks are already, you know, calculated. She knows what worst can happen and what best can happen. And if she knows what worst can happen and she's prepared to deal with that, then she can give the space to people to take that and is ready to take that risk. So I know that every manager who believes in delegation is, you know, not taking uncalculated risks. All risks that she takes are calculated risks, and she knows that if this worst thing, what can happen, and she knows that if this worst thing happens, how I'll be able to take on the task and handle it. So or then I can introduce someone to take on the task and handle it. So that kind of preparedness is always there in the so therefore, you know, delegation requires strategic planning. It cannot happen like, you know, there is something you don't discuss, you don't plan, you don't, you know, calculate what is going to happen, and you just simply delegate. It doesn't happen like that. It requires planning. It requires a strategy. It requires a, you know, teamwork to happen. And therefore, according to the strength of the team, the work is delegated. Yeah.
True. So, Olivia, one last piece of advice that you would like to give to leaders who micromanage and doesn't realize that.
Well, I think there's something about what are we doing when we micromanage? We're doing the job ourselves effectively, but maybe with somebody else's hands. So there's a real scaling issue there. You can't micromanage a team of 10, 20, 30 people and actually do your own job and sleep. So if you notice that you're spending a huge amount of time doing the work, noticing is always the first step, isn't it, in any of these things? Once you've noticed that, then you can start to ask yourself questions like, why am I doing so much of the work? And the answer could be, well, my team's terrible. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, well, as a leader, you have a responsibility there. It could be, well, my team's not capable. Okay, well, as a leader, you have a responsibility there. So for every answer, there will be a good reason why maybe you need to just check yourself. and step back from the action and think about who else could be doing this. Does it need to be me? And I've worked, I've coached with so many leaders, and it's a great question to ask yourself as I'm about to start a task. Does it need to be me doing this? So I think that's as simple as it gets. So why are you doing the things that you're doing? And if you don't know that you're micromanaging, just look at your day. What did you do? And you'll spot when you're micromanaging.
True, but they feel that they are doing extra, they are doing too much of work, and they are overwhelmed, and that's because they are great, so they have to do it. Anyways, that's a different dilemma that we need to unfold. So, Namita, your thought, one piece of advice you would like to give to the leaders who micromanage without realizing it.
Yeah, I think adding to what Olivia said, and very, very well said, I want to say that leader can only grow when the team members will grow. So, for your own growth, for you to take up larger strategic challenges and issues and goals, you need to delegate to your team so that they take up certain tasks of yours or important tasks of yours so you can expand to a larger level. For example, I am looking after HR in the organization. I have various divisions there, from payroll, administration, training, capacity building, talent acquisition, training, exit process, and all that. So, unless and until I'll ensure that my team members are heading certain of these divisions on their own, they are empowered enough to take decisions or to ensure things there. Yes, I oversee all that, but in case I don't do that, I'll be restricted to only one of the department where I'll ensure and micromanage and see how best I can do. So for someone to grow as a leader, to take up larger strategic things, it's very, very important for everyone's growth in the organization, ultimately leading to the growth of the organization.
You. Ambika, any thoughts?
Yeah, so again, I will refer to educational context and managing an educational institute, right? Every teacher has their own style of teaching, right? You can't micromanage and tell them ki this topic you need to teach like this, with this material, with this exercise, with these questions. You only can teach your children. It is like the teacher's own autonomy has to be respected. Similarly, when I see it in the professional domain, I see like every team member's autonomy to decide what he or she wants to do, in what ways he or she wants to do, should be respected, because they are also qualified, experienced people, and you have to help them in making better decisions, and for that you have to give them space. So giving an autonomy to everyone to decide and to see the vision, the larger vision of the work, I think delegation is very crucial thing, and it helps. And we are even thinking of assigning this autonomy to the children, to decide their learning journey, their learning pathways. So when in a democratic country and in a democratic world, it is very crucial that each individual has this ability to take good decisions, and for that we should have these institutional practices as well, where people have the right to decide, and the ability, then comes the ability also. Then you will have to give them the support to make them capable enough to take the right kind of decision that aligns with the organizational goals. So the alignment with the organizational goals, and then there's space to decide. Little bit of autonomy is very crucial. Yeah.
Thank you. So I think it was a very, very interesting discussion. I think I would have not minded going a little longer, but I'm equally conscious of the time we have. So what I could take, the key takeaways is that it's all about trust. It's all about empowering, and it's all about growing with the growth of your team. So while letting go is not at all about losing control, but it's about gaining trust and potential. On that note, I would like to share one thought for the viewers to think upon, that you can have it all, but you cannot do it all. So it's always delegation and not micromanagement. And it's not delegation versus micromanagement. Thank you very much, Olivia. Thank you very much, Ambika. Thank you, Namita, for taking time out for this interesting podcast. I'm sure the viewers will get the right insights and will find it very useful. I request the viewers to share their suggestions, thoughts, and feedback to us and keep watching Boss vs. Coach podcast. Thank you very much. Good night and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.